Welcome, listeners, to the Lust for Life podcast, where you will be joining a girl on her journey to discovering the depths of emotional intelligence. This is your host, Tennessee Reed. Today is one of my favorite topics. I feel like I say that every week, but it truly is. It's something that my life coach taught me, and it's the productivity that's produced from journaling every day. Something in my routine that I've added is journaling. And I wake up in the morning and the first thing I do is I think of all the things that I'm grateful for. And quite honestly, I feel like I'm half out of it because I just woke up, but it just gets me in the mindset and kind of my subconscious always being grateful and looking for gratitude and things. Then I usually will walk my dog or go to the gym. But when I come back, I write in my journal. And I don't write my journal in the sense that I'm not writing about my previous day. I'm not writing about my experiences. I'm writing about my goals and what I want my intentions for that day to be. So I start out with 5 things or how many I want, goals that I want to achieve that day. And they're achievable goals. They're not long-term goals. They're very small tasks that I like to call goals instead of to-do lists because it's more motivating, it's more positive, because I feel like to-do lists do have a negative connotation. After I do my goals for the day, I write down 5 things that I'm grateful for. And they're all different. And I write down why I'm grateful for them. So it adds, a root to the flower. And I have repeated myself many times because I truly am grateful for those things. But I do try to look for something different each day that I'm grateful for and why. And then below that, I write my intention for the day. What do I want out of my day? What do I want to be that day? Do I want to be motivating? Do I want to be, relaxed? Do I want to focus on certain things in the day? I just really like the idea of setting an intention. That's something that like Oprah has really talked about. When she begins meetings, she always starts with the intention of meetings. And I think that's really powerful of why are you doing what you're doing? Like, what are you looking to get out of it? And I feel like it really puts things into perspective with your choices of how is this going to benefit me? And how might this hurt me and take me away from my goals? But journaling really has become a core task that I do every day. It really helps me to set my day and really be motivated. And this last week, I kind of slacked a little bit and we got to bed late the night before and I wanted to sleep in a few minutes more because sleep is my number one priority. I've learned that with myself, if I do not get my full amount of sleep, I am not productive at all. And I can work through it, but I am not happy. I really need my sleep. And I know others are able to work through it, but I really, really do need my sleep. So I prioritized my sleep over journaling because I stayed up late the night before. So I did not journal a couple days this last week, because I didn't have time in the morning before work. And I sincerely noticed the biggest difference. I did not have my intention set during the day. And when I got home from work, I got home, ate dinner, and I completely forgot like what my goals were for the day. And I was so unproductive. Like I sat on the couch and I think I watched TV one night because I just wanted to relax. And I genuinely forgot about my goals. Like I totally forgot. I didn't recall them. After work, you're tired, your brain's starting to get ready for bed. I think that's natural. And I think that's something that I really want to work on this next week. An experience that kind of like reminded me of like the importance of the journaling, what actually happened to me tonight. And it's happened to me many other times before, but I was driving home from the grocery store and I have to take a highway to get to the grocery store. And I always miss my exit. If my husband's not in the car to remind me, I miss it. I'm so used to driving in Utah where when an exit's coming up, you have like two lanes that widen. So it's clear that an exit's coming up, and they like widen like at least a quarter mile before. And so it like is a landmark telling you that there's an exit coming up. And you can see the exits from pretty far away in Utah because it's just one straight interstate. So it's easy to see the signs. And here in North Carolina, there's lots of trees, there's lots of turns. And when exits come up, it's like you've got to be ready to turn off because there's no lanes opening up usually. And especially at our home exit. And if you miss this exit, you have to go a few miles past, turn around and get back on. And I've done this so many times. And I actually was a little frustrated tonight. I was like, why did I do this? Why can't I just remember? And I'm like, okay, what can I learn from this? Obviously to pay attention, but like, what can I do to help myself to not forget? So it's not so difficult for me. And I was thinking the importance of landmarks because in Utah, I had the landmarks and the importance of being able to see the signs further ahead. Unfortunately, I can't really do either of those in North Carolina. So I've come to the conclusion that I just need to pay more attention to the signs, which I am not the best at. Side story, we were driving to Gatlinburg, Tennessee from North Carolina, and we ended up in South Carolina because I just zoned out and did not pay attention to the signs. So I think that's just a characteristic I need to work on, which I think will be of benefit to me in many different ways of my life. But I just thought of the importance of landmarks, and that really pertains to journaling too. I feel like when I journal in the morning, I write my goals, I'm fired up for my intentions, and then I go off during my day and I forget about them. Because that was this morning at, 5, 6 a.m. And I was thinking, okay, well, how can I create a landmark to remember my goals so that I can think about them during the day? I can really focus on my intention and really take control of the direction of my day and my life. And so I was thinking, okay, well, I have this big, whiteboard right by my calendar that I look at every day. And I'm going to write down my goals for that day on that, whiteboard right next to my calendar. It's right by my kitchen. I would see it multiple times a day. And especially when I come home from work, I'll be able to see it, know what I want to do after work that night. What do I want to accomplish? And I can, I have a direction, I can get it done, and I'll feel really, really good. I also think that having a landmark for your long-term goals or long-term tasks that need to be done is also a benefit. So I'm also going to make the goal this week to not only put that day's goals and that day's tasks there, but I'm also going to put my long-term goals so that I can each day have some of my short-term goals aid in completing my long-term goals. I also think that it's important to address maybe when we're feeling burnt out or not as motivated, because those days do come, especially for me when I don't get my adequate amount of sleep. I'm feeling a little unmotivated. I just want to lay down and take it easy. Something that I've learned is you have to have a backstop, a little safety net for when those times come. What are things that you can do to help you to stay on task, stay motivated? And I think it's different for each person. It really is. For me, I found through trial and error that I really like to go outside and exercise or walk my dog, just be in nature. And I always heard people say that growing up, and I never really got it. I always thought it was fun to be in the mountains or hear the birds or, wildlife. But I didn't really appreciate that until, I've grown up a little bit. But I really do love being outside, being in nature, really grounding myself with the earth and reflecting on myself. And I think that there's a physiological component to that as well, with blood flow to the brain. Kind of wakes you up, because I feel like for me, a lot of lack of motivation comes from being tired. This week's episode was super short and super sweet, but it's something that I do every day. I journal every day, and I think it's made a huge difference in my life. And I guarantee you that it'll make a difference in yours. So this week's challenge is to at least think about your daily goals and think about your daily intentions. And if you want to take it the full step, journal about it, because writing it down has proven to show that people remember it more. So at least think about your goals, think about your intentions. If you want to take that next step, write them down in your journal, but then write them down in some place on your bathroom mirror, wherever, to where you'll see it multiple times a day. And I know that you'll feel more accomplished, you'll feel more motivated, and you genuinely will feel more happy and fulfilled. And I'm so grateful that all of you joined this week. I love you all, and I look forward to seeing you back next week.